Hello and welcome. This is Angie with thecountrysheetcottage.net. So today we're going to talk about patterns in Cricut Design Space. You might have noticed when you've uploaded like a SVG or a JPEG file that there's also a place to upload patterns, or you might have noticed a pattern fill when you are playing around with print then cut and flattening an object. So what exactly is a pattern and how do you use them in Cricut Design Space? Let's take a look inside the software. All right, so first let's talk about how to get your pattern into Cricut Design Space. You would click the upload, and instead of uploading an image, you click upload pattern and browse for the file you want. So we are going to work with this pattern first, and you can name it whatever you would like here. So I'm going to name it watercolor 2. And it also kind of helps if you put it into a color category so you can find it later if you need it. And you can even pick a theme or a style if you would like. So I could pick a theme and a miscellaneous theme and maybe a textured style, and then save. And then it basically says that your pattern fill has uploaded and you can find it anytime in the layer attributions under print and patterns. So let's go to our canvas. And let's talk about how you use these patterns. So first of all, a pattern can be used to print. So instead of no fill, we can put a fill of print, and then we can click this square beside print. And this allows us to pick a color if we would like, so we could change the color of the circle, and you could even do a more advanced and pick just any color you would like, or if you have a color code, you can put it down here. But you can also change that to pattern. So now we see a ton of different patterns, including the one we just uploaded, and also a bunch that are Cricut patterns. So we can pick any of these patterns and apply it to our circle. So I can scroll down here and pick this purple. Then you can see the purple pattern applied to the actual circle itself. So let's pick something like this watermelon. And there you see it on our circle, but we can also edit any pattern. So when we edit the pattern, we can change the scale up or down. Using the arrows, a slider, we can type a scale in. So I could make the watermelon bigger. I could move it horizontally or vertically. I could rotate the pattern. And I could also flip it horizontally or vertically. So you can use those options to sort of edit the pattern if you would like. You can also, while you're in here, you can filter the pattern. So what I was talking about earlier about picking that color, you can filter it by color here, and you might, be more likely to find the pattern you uploaded. So now let's use that pattern we uploaded on something that would be more of a project. So this is in 2 layers, right? So I have the wings and then I have the butterfly itself. So let's apply the pattern to the wings first. And I'm going to apply the pattern I uploaded. And this pattern was from a free for use site. But you can see that it's repeating the pattern. So you can see the line through there. So that's where I would use that edit pattern, and I would up that scale or shift it horizontally. And so I can kind of play with it until I get the look I want on these butterfly wings. That's perfect right there. So I can close this, and now I can see the butterfly wings have that pattern. And now we can put these 2 together and align them in the center so that they're together, and then we can flatten the entire thing. So now this butterfly is a print then cut, and it will print with my pattern as the butterfly wings, and then I could have changed the color on the butterfly body itself, but I left it as green, and now I can just do a print then cut of that. Now let's talk about another way to use patterns. So perhaps you purchased some patterned iron-on, patterned vinyl, that type of thing. You can use the pattern feature to kind of see what it's going to look like on your project without actually cutting it out first. So let's upload a print first of all. Let's upload a pattern first of all. And this pattern is actually some premium vinyl from Cricut. So it's a premium vinyl that they have on their website. And I just, I'm going to call it Ditzy Dots. And I just saved the image from their website. And now I can get an idea before I even cut this out what it will look like. Because sometimes you're not sure about the font itself, if it's going to look okay with a patterned vinyl or iron-on. And it's better to do this test before you actually cut it, and that way you kind of know like what it's going to look like. So first of all, I will need to edit the pattern. So it is putting it 1 across on this M, and that would mean that the M is 12 inches wide, which it's not going to be. So I'm going to make it much larger. I'm going to make it about that scale. That would probably be approximately how big it would be. And this is all approximate. But if that's how big the letters were across the vinyl piece, then this is what it would look like cut out. And so now I can see that with these white spaces, how much of that pattern is going to show and how great it looks. And then I could even change the font. And I could see maybe how it would look with a chunkier font. Change the fill again. And you know, maybe I like that better or worse, but it's better to play with it here than waste a bunch of vinyl on a project I'm not going to love. So I do like that feature. Now you just have to be sure to change it back to no fill. So it will cut your letters out from your patterned vinyl when you cut it. So you will need to change that back to a no fill. But the pattern feature can definitely be used to kind of see your project in Cricut Design Space before you cut. So that's super easy. And now you can use any of those pre-made patterns or like a pattern you find on the internet, a sunset picture you've taken with your camera, and then you can make all kinds of print and cut shapes. You can put it on a variety of shapes and do print and cut. Now, I do want to note, print and cut is only for the Cricut Explore series and the Cricut Maker. The Cricut Joy does not do print and cut, so you will not be able to use the pattern fill with that. Now, if you want to do that trick where you want to kind of see what a pattern will look like before you cut it out of a patterned vinyl or iron-on, then change your setting from Cricut Joy to Cricut Explore, so it'll let you play around with that. Change it back to a cut image, then change your machine back to a Cricut Joy. So that's kind of a way to get around that, to kind of see what that pattern will look like once you cut it out. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you use it to make all those print and cut projects and just anything you can imagine and anything your heart desires, with either pictures that you find from sites like Unsplash and Pixabay, or with pictures you take yourself, like on your cell phone. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about anything we've covered, please drop down in the comment section and ask those. And if you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos like this every week, and you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.